Hello friends, welcome to our channels. As we know that IIT Guwahati finally released their students a response key. So you all are wait for the answer key. So finally we reach a conclusion of the 2018 GATE solution, and which is we try to give the more accurate as much as possible to the solution, because now data is available, proper data is available. So let's start without delay that section wise, that what is the paper is a general aptitude part. Here I am not discuss too much about the question, because now you have the question with you just check your answers. Okay, there was a one question from the English part that the answer have convoluted structure. Another one question have answer course and course, and there was a one bonus question, that's a 4/11 probability answer, because no option match in that options. There was a question from reasoning part that answer start with the word H, that is option C. And there was a board question, the answer have that question is R wrote twice. And there was a given function, particular function given in this form, that answer is the 2. And there was a one function given k plus 2 whole square divided by k minus 3, and it's become integer when the k values is 4, 8 and 28. Similarly, there was another question that f of x minus 3 equal to 0 when the answer is that question is x is equal to 1, 3, 6. And there was a question in which they asked the percentage of blue marbles. The answer of that particular question is 43.75%. And there was even more question, how many combination is possible for distinct password. There are particular combinations is given. The answer of that particular question is 40560. So this is a general aptitude part. Total 10 question asked. They all are covered in this section. Now we start the technical part. There is control system. As we already in our previous video, all four questions are discussed about the control system. The column matching, and there are one question, it is answer is 0.6, and there is a number of poles in the left half. The answer of that question 3, and there is the value of k is equal to 8. Now the digital electronic pass, it also completed in our previous video. There was one cardinal map question, answer is A bar plus C, and logic gate question answer is AB plus CD, and counter question answer is frequency divided by 5. Now there is measurement 3 questions. Answer of 2 watt meter question is 0.866. A meter extended range meter answer is 2 second time constant, 5.5 milliohms shunt resistance value, and the x is equal to 10. The particular equation V and I given, and they asked what is the value of x when the average power is equal to 0. Now the part is electrical machine. In the electrical machine, we covered number of questions. There is one question is new, so we complete all questions here. 4.8% is the answer of voltage regulation transformer, 97.7% transformer efficiency, and it is a 24.6 RPM. DC series motor. In this question they increase the torque by 44% somewhat, and there is a salient pole motor question that the maximum torque occur at the angle 45 degree, and single phase induction motor power factor value is 0.103, and there was a no load. There was one question at which no load speed is given, in particular that question answer is the 6000 radian per second. So this is electrical machine parts, total 6 question. Now the power system, and the power question system, total 8 question asked. There was a 7 ohm resistor Zm imaginary part value, and there was one fault question. The answer of that question Z1 plus Z2 into 1 minus k divided by k. And there was fault analysis question, answer is 73.518 kilo ampere, and there was a Newton Raphson method question, answer is 28.74 degree, and the admittance matrix question answer is 3500 branch, and the steady state limit is less than V1 V2 divided by x, not z, it is x. And there was a generator question. The answer of that question is 6.34, 11.34, 2.68, that is option C. And there is one question with circuitry given, the neutral current equal to 0, then they ask the value of resistance. The answer of that particular question is 5.77 ohm. Now from the network, there is one two-port network question. The answer of that question is equal to 0.5. There was one question in which 8 node and 5 independent loop is given. Then we asked the number of branch. The answer of that question is 12. There was one question is given. They asked the Z equivalent in the ladder network. In that given ladder network, the answer of the question is J12. And there was one other question in which they asked the value of P1, P2, P3. The answer of that question is P1 is less than 0, P2 is greater than 0, P3 is less than 0. And there was one more question which LC circuitry is given. They asked the root locus form in which x-axis there was a voltage and there y-axis current. So the root locus formed like that. And there was one question in which RLC circuit is given. There is a current I is flow from the inductor and a voltage appear across the capacitor. There are particular values is given. The answer of that question is 50 ohm. Now from the signal system, there is total 6 questions asked, and there was one energy question. The answer of that question is 5/3. Particularly, there was a particular function is given, and there was one more question in which they asked the about the value of x1f and x2f. The answer of that question is x1f is equal to x2f is less than infinity. And there was one more question in which they give the x1 is equal to mod t, x2 is equal to 1 minus mod t, and then they asked the which signal have the more energy. The answer of that question is x1 is greater than x2. There was one more question from the Fourier transform. The answer of that question is equal to 10. There was one function is given 1 upon j omega plus 10 whole square, something like that. And there was one more question. There was a continuous time input signal is given xt is an eigen function. Then what is the output? The answer of that question is k into xt, where k is an eigen value. There was one more question in which one x minus bracket x is given. Then they asked the value of line integral from 0.25 to 1.25. The answer of that particular question is 0.5. And now from the power electronics, total 6 questions asked. There was one question in which they asked about the device. The answer of that question is triac and MOSFET. And the buck, there was one buck converter is given. Then they asked the value of current. Answer of that question is 12.5 ampere. And one question they asked about the fundamental current in which quasi square wave is given, and there was some waveform is given in the question. The answer of that question is 17.4 ampere. There was one more question in which they asked the value of alpha, and the answer is 90 degree. And in one question they give particular circuitry and waveform, and they asked the value of power transfer from V1 to V2. The answer of that particular question is 12 watt. There was one converter picture is given, and there was some diode also is connected. The answer of that question is V0 is greater than equal to 0 and I0 is greater than equal to 0. Now from the EMFT, total 3 questions asked. The one question from permittivity in which capacitance dielectric plate something, and the answer of that question is 2.35. And there was one question from they asked electric field in the z direction. Answer of that question minus 999.09. There was one if a picture is given toroid transform toroid equation like that. They asked the mean radius. The answer of that question is mu I r square n square into w divided by 2 into v. So this is from about EMFT. Now from analog, they ask total 2 questions. They ask about the op-amp, the output divided by input voltage. The value of that particular question is minus Z into R2 by R1. And the one question they find out the value of Thevenin resistance in which BJT is given. And there was some R combination is given. The answer of that particular question is 492.61 ohm. Now finally from mathematics, there was a huge number of questions asked in this year. There are total 8 questions. There was one question which said 3 into 3 matrix given A matrix. They asked the value of B matrix. The B particular equation is given for B. So answer of that question is equal to 1. And there was one question in which they asked the value of particular line integral. This also is from the residue theorem. And there was at the value of Z is equal to minus 2. They asked the value. The answer of that question is pi iota by 2. And there was one more question from the residue theorem, and there was one particular function is given, and they asked the value of total integral of that function. The answer of that question is equal to 0. And there was one more question in which they given the f of x is equal to x square, and at x is greater than equal to 0, and f of x is equal to minus x square when x is less than 0. And they ask about the continuity and differentiability. The answer of that particular question is f of x is differentiable, but its first derivative is not differentiable at x is equal to 0. And there was one more question from the directional derivative. They give the particular function and particular in the a vector, and a point also is given, and they ask the value of directional derivative in that direction. The answer of that question is 1. There was one question from the linear algebra in which they give the trace of a is equal to 4 and trace of a square is equal to 5. Then they ask about the determinant of a. The answer of is 5.5. And there was one from the maximum minimum question. They asked the value of maximum, absolute maxima. Actually, they asked the value of absolute maxima because in this question some local maxima also occur, but they asked the absolute maxima. The answer is that maxima is equal to 12. There was one more question in which they give the particular value x square plus y square is equal to 9. Then they asked about the line integral of the curve. In first quadrant there some picture is given. The answer of that particular question is 0. So guys, this is all about the complete solution of the electrical engineering GATE 2018. I try to give my best and accurate solution. If you find furthermore any mismatch or any objection, please inform or comment below. And if you like this video or solution, please like the press button. Thank you for watching. Wish you good luck to all of you.